dug in. In South Wales was a colliery. A little tank engine shunted trucks in this mine to take them on long trains along a branch line. The branch line ended at the exchange sidings with the main line, where bigger engines would take them along their journeys. An industrial environment like the coal mine requested visibility. Accidents were common, so the wife's owner had the little tank engine repainted in bright colors. The owner wasn't particularly fond of the colors. "Pink and white?" he asked. "I gave you white paper, but I didn't think you'd turn my engine into a flower." "Well, she's beautiful as a flower, even more. Besides, bright colors they are, right?" "Right," said the owner. "So, this makes it perfect. It's very visible amongst all this black coal and those green trees." The owner had to agree, but he wasn't still fond of having a pink tank engine. But as his wife said, it made her unique. Some days people would pop by and take her picture. One day, rain came down. It didn't stop work at the coal mine. The little tank engine cleared up the sidings and arranged a train, and by the time the rain stopped, she was ready to take her 25 coal trucks along the line to the junction where the mainline engine was waiting. To get to the mainline station, she had to get over a hill. This was short and steep, and to get over the top, she had to work very hard. She dug her wheels into the sand, but her wheels slipped due to the rain. She huffed and puffed and did her best, but she couldn't do it. "Blast," said the driver. "We'll be late." So they backed the train to the bottom of the hill and sanded the rails carefully. Then they tried again, and finally, after much whooshing and puffing, they made it over the top. At the exchange sidings, the mainline engine was waiting. "You took your time, Cotton Candy." "Cotton Candy?" spluttered the tank engine. "I had a little slip-up at the hill. It rained, if you haven't noticed, and I'm hauling 25 trucks." "Well, you might have plenty of slip-ups, but not while hauling my trains, thank you." "If only you worked as hard as me, you'd understand." The mainline engine scoffed. "You work hard? You're just a tourist attraction. I saw you hauling those brake vans with people taking pictures. You're turning your colliery into a tourist line. Ha!" And the mainline engine went away. "Huh, at least people will want to look at me," she said darkly. But she had more troubles than her appearance at the moment. More coal than ever was needed. Some of the miners had gone on strike. After their strike was over, they came back to work, and the influx of coal she had to ship out was enormous. The little tank engine had to work really hard and sometimes had to work trains even longer than 25 trucks. She ended up taking 28 one morning. At the end of that run, she really was knackered. "If I get to pull a longer train than this one, I'm going on strike," she said, annoyed. "Never mind," said her driver. "The board has agreed for another engine to join us soon. I'm sure it'll be smooth sailing after that. We just have to press on for a few more days." "I hope so," said the little tank engine. She really wanted to have a rest. And the meetings with the mainline engine didn't make things better. The next day, the tank engine spent her time tidying up the sidings and filling up the empty trucks. There were lots of them, so much that some didn't fit in their sidings. She had to park some of them inside her shed. "That's not fair," she said. "Manager should get another siding. We can't go on like this. We'll put trucks above my roof next." "Don't you like complaining?" said her fireman. "I'm not complaining, I'm worried," said the tank engine. "We got to take some trucks out or the mine will overflow." The driver and fireman had to agree. They set up a train of 26 trucks ready for the junction. As she started up along the branch line, she saw rain pouring. "Bother," she said. "We'll have to work triple hard up the hill." Thankfully, the rain soon went away. Unfortunately, this meant that the rails at the hill were slippery. I'm not sure we'll be able to do this, driver, she said worriedly. Nonsense, he said. We'll have to pour some sand and then we'll be right as rain. So they uncoupled her from the trucks and she began to sand the hill. As she made her way, however, she saw some rabbits jumping on the side of the line. How cute, she thought. Never mind the rabbits, said her driver. We have to finish this run first. The tank engine groaned. After they sanded the hill, they went down and coupled up to the train. Then, with much whooshing and puffing, they snorted up the hill. Come on, come on, come on, said the tank engine. Her wheels slipped, and sparks led from her funnel. Steady, girls, steady. Steady nothing, we have to get this train up. She dug her wheels into the sand, and then... Gotcha, she said happily. We've got them, driver. Well done, old girl, he said. But then they heard a clang and a strange rumbling sound behind them. What's that? There was a sudden jerk from behind. The driver looked back as the train stopped. Oh no, he said. At the exchange sidings, the mainline engine was waiting. Where has Cotton Candy went? He said, annoyed. Soon, the foreman showed up. Quick, get the workmen and some planks. We need to perform a rescue operation. A rescue operation? What happened? Has the coal train stuck on the hill again? More or less, said the foreman. Now hurry. Without another word, the mainline engine went off. He made his way along the branch line, worried. I hope I'm heavy enough for this track, he said. But then he gasped. There in front of him sat the little tank engine with her wheels sunk in the ground. Beneath her was the track, or at least what wasn't buried of it, and behind her, her trucks were in her same situation. Dear Lord, what happened? Asked the mainline engine. I think some rabbits dug holes under the banks. They must have sunk the rails under our weight. These coal trucks are heavy after all, said the driver. The tank engine said nothing. She was embarrassed. Soon, with the help of the workmen, they put some wooden planks to create a track for the tank engine to be hauled back on the rails. And after a chain was fastened between the two engines, the mainline one heaved and hauled the remaining one back on the rails. As they made sure she was all right, the mainline engine hauled her to the sheds at the mainline junction. He chuckled. Well, Cotton Candy, you did really well to dug your wheels into the sand for the hill. I didn't think the rabbits would do the same in the hill. The pink tank engine was thankful to be back on the rails, but had to admit that despite she didn't like the mainline engine, she had to agree that it was kind of funny. It took some time for the branch line to be repaired, and coal deliveries were made by lorry. The owner was happy when the little engine returned after the line was repaired. The manager also had an extra siding built at the mine and an extra shorter one at the top of the hill, so that when long trains had to get to the junction, they could be split up. The little tank engine was very happy about this, and she and the mainline engine became good friends. There were no more serious delays and everything was right. But since then, she and her crew always kept lookout for rabbits.